What's going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to the overview, the first one of the year, actually. We've been so busy here on United View. We haven't even been able to squash the overview in, but it's back, match day 22. I'm here, first time on the channel. Mr. Ade Oledipo, what are we saying, bro?
Thank you for having me on the channel, man. About time as well, by the way.
It is.
About time. I don't know what the delay's been.
Well, I've been trying to call you, but obviously, you know what I mean. This guy's on
Busy
the
man.
zone doing up boxing. He's on Talk Sport. He's been doing up everything. Do you know what I'm saying? He's everywhere. So yeah, the schedules kept clashing, as they say.
Yeah, they do. But look, it's good to be on, and well done with the growth of the channel as well. I'm lucky. I see the work you put in behind the scenes to get to where it's got to, and it's crazy. Onwards to 100,000 subs, right?
100%, bro. Appreciate that, man. 100%. We are building here at the United View. Big up yourselves in the chat. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you lot are new. Big up to you lot. Let's get into it because I've got to start at my club. You know what it is, guys. Here in United View, we're biased, so we've got to start with Man United. And Ade is a Liverpool fan. If you lot didn't know as well, Ade is a Liverpool fan, but he's
don't come for me on Twitter, please.
No, do it. Come for him. Man United, the reports today, and this is coming from Samuel Luckhurst, who we know is a very well-connected journalist in terms of Manchester United. He basically says that Manchester United could look to appoint a new manager before the end of the season, which was very interesting. He says multiple sources have confirmed incoming chief executive Richard Arnold will not be heavily involved in football matters, but he would have to request a sign-off on any managerial appointment from co-chairman Joel Glazer. Erik ten Hag is admired, he says, Man United for ending Ajax's 5-year championship drought and taking them to within seconds of the Champions League final. United and Ajax have a positive relationship following the transfer of Donny van der Beek. Might not be positive anymore after we ruined their player. And he also says, a source says Man United believe the sooner the better a manager is appointed, with the club mindful of Tottenham's farcical efforts to replace Jose Mourinho last summer. John Murtough is believed to be heading up the process, with Rangnick also involved. So it's coming up that Man United are actually saying, you know what, we need to move. We need to move quick. We need a manager more quickly than we thought. And Erik ten Hag and Pochettino are in the fray. What's your thoughts on that?
Interesting. It is interesting. I mean, does that mean the Ralph Rangnick thing hasn't worked and is not going to work until the end of the season? Can he not at least stable the ship? I'm not quite sure. I think what it probably will mean is not someone necessarily coming in now. I think it will mean getting them. So they are done now. They've signed off and they then start at the end of the season, because again, with the merry-go-round that is managers, and you know this, you can lose someone. I mean, you wait, someone will go. I mean, Conte has openly said his deal with Tottenham's only until the end of the season. Right? He's not ready to commit anything more. So someone could jump in there. I mean, could Ten Hag go to Tottenham? Could Daniel Levy look there? So I think right now you've almost got to make sure you secure the person that you want before the start of the season. I still think Ralph Rangnick stays as a manager until the end of the season. I know a lot of people criticize the way in which, or what he's done so far after 7 or 8 games. I mean, I don't know what people expected, if I'm honest with you. And he was coming into a mess. And it wasn't going to be easy to clean up that mess at all. It's coming into so many egos, and you know more about this than I do, but it was never going to be easy. I think he's steadied the ship a little bit, and I think he will do until the end of the season. I think maybe they're probably looking at, there's still trophies there for United. I say what you want. United could win the Champions League. I've had discussions with someone else before. They could do it. And maybe you need a top manager in to do that, but I'm not quite sure. Pochettino's not pulled up much trees in Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, they won't cry if he leaves. Ten Hag's a different one. I think Ten Hag's a lot better, and he's doing a lot better job. But you could then say it's a weaker league as well, the Eredivisie. So
that's my thing, Ade. Like you see when people, and look, if either of them I am actually happy with, whether it's Pochettino or Ten Hag, but I feel like the hate Pochettino's getting, and kind of like he's not good enough. He ain't won anything. And obviously he's at PSG now. So when he wins the league, what are they, 11 points clear in Liga? When he wins the league, if he wins the cup, it's like it's only PSG's, even though he's got 2 trophies in the bag and he has actually won something. Like, do you think that he is past it, or he's not what he's cracked up to be, or do you see him getting a little bit disrespected in terms of in contention for the United job?
A bit disrespected. I don't think he's as big as he was at Tottenham when he got to the Champions League final.
Why is that? Is that because he's gone PSG though, and that's the type of club it is, where nobody can leave there having gone up a grade, or actually
Maybe.
they can.
No, you can. I mean, look at Thomas Tuchel and the job he's done, having left there in Chelsea and
This is
Champions
what I
League. So
mean.
you
Yeah.
can do anything. But it's almost like even if he wins anything and everything at Paris Saint-Germain, if he doesn't win the Champions League, it's almost like, well, you're going to win it. It's Paris Saint-Germain. You've got the biggest budget. You've got the best players in the world by far. So you don't really get much ticks for doing that. So I must feel like, I don't know, he's still a bit unproven for me, Mauricio Pochettino. I think he's a great manager, but unproven. I thought he'd done it. Like I would more give him plaudits for the job he done at Tottenham than the job he's doing at Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Him winning the trophy at Paris Saint-Germain means very little to me when you have a team that they have. I thought what he did at Tottenham was really good, and the way he built that team as well. And I think then that move from Tottenham to United I think would have been a good one. Obviously, Ollie got the job, and say what you want, whether it was a success or not with Ollie. Say what you want about the success
he
there.
Used to dodge it all the time.
Yeah, but I think Poch was good then. I think he's plateaued a little bit, but only because the expectations are so big at Paris Saint-Germain. He could only really live up to those expectations if he wins the Champions League, and I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, I just feel like it's very interesting that these quotes are coming out now when we're in disarray. There's chaos at the club. Players are coming out and talking when they're not supposed to, or having to defend their name in the likes of Martial and the likes of Fred and the likes of
Flex is crazy. Flex is
They've
crazy.
all done it. It's a circus act, bro.
It's mental. I mean, at the start of the season, look, everyone had conversations, and I looked at that top four, and I thought this is going to be the greatest top four race ever. Honestly, I thought this is going to be
because West Ham are in there, and no one thought they would be.
It's mental, right? I thought it was going to be spectacular. I looked at Man United's acquisitions. I was like, okay, Varane. You know what I mean? Again, the Rolls Royce type defender, everyone says. Jadon Sancho coming in exciting. Look what he did at the Bundesliga. And then you're getting in, the best player in the world. Arguably, top 3, top 4 at the time. Top scorer in Serie A. How it's gone from that to this, and then Martial coming on Instagram saying I was going to play, and Ranić saying you wasn't going to play. And I'm like, what is going on? Honestly, what is going on? So, yeah, look, it's a mess. And I think you wait until the end of the season to sort the mess out, but you almost have to get someone in now and let it be known that this person's coming in at the end of the season so the players understand as well, because it's just not looking good for United right now.
Yeah, I think maybe even to go as far as saying, like you said there, announce who it's going to be and say at the end of the season, X is going to come in or Y is going to come in. I think they did that with Pep Guardiola, didn't they, at Man City?
Yeah, they did.
They said, listen, this is what's going on.
I guess it was
at the end of the season.
Pep, though, because he was in New York at the time on holiday.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly.
He was free, you know what I mean? So it was easy.
Free, to be fair.
I guess the only free manager now you could do it with is Zidane. He's the one that's free, right?
And the club on the other side, so PSG aren't going to want the unsettlement on that side of it, saying that Poch is going to be there, and it's probably the same with Ajax, I suppose. So that is a bit difficult, but just basically the hunt for stability. Ralf Rangnick. Well, obviously you're saying there we kind of need someone in now to sort the mess out. That's what Ralf Rangnick's supposed to be there to do in terms of an interim. That's the whole point of the interim. It's very messy.
I didn't think he thought
need
the
a
mess
short
was
term.
as big as it is. Honestly, I'm not joking. I think there's
a lot of that going on. Conte said that. Rangnick saying it. Benitez, which we'll get to, he couldn't believe how bad it actually. It's like these managers. It's like, what have they been watching?
Yeah,
before they
honestly,
get there?
I don't know. Maybe what it is. I think there's one thing watching United, and I think there's another thing going to the training ground and seeing some of the attitude of the players and thinking, okay, what is this? Because United have so many superstars. It's going to be difficult, and they're probably looking at Rangnick, and no disrespect to him. Obviously, Klopp's backed him and Tuchel's backed him as the godfather of German football. But they're thinking, dude, you just come from Lokomotiv Moscow as a sporting director. Let me show me your CV. What have you won? And you got a lot of egos in that Man United dressing room, probably not accepting it. Like, you're not a top manager. You can't be telling us A, B, and C, and D. So I think it's a big job for Rangnick. And look, I was one of those people Rangnick should be given the job on a full-time basis. Now I'm happy that he's only going to be there as a sport consultancy role after, because I think it's even a bit too big for him. I think he's realized that this is a lot. This is the biggest.
And that was the main thing. The main thing that us United fans were happy about was that latter part of his appointment, which is the 2 years upstairs to get some structure, to get a real football man who knows his football, at helping make football decisions. Basically, the right parts in the right places and the right people doing the right jobs, which we haven't had at United. So that was the main bit, and obviously this bit was just a firefight and try and stabilize the season, but it hasn't really worked out that way so far. It's kind of going from bad to worse, and then the player relationships and the atmosphere around Old Trafford and the dressing room seems to be getting even worse than it was under Ollie. Super chat here from Ray S. Big up Ray S. Thank you for the contribution. Says Man United ain't feared anymore. Teams don't expect to fight. teams expect a result. Busby must be, and Fergie wouldn't stand for this. Ten Hag, he is Man United's DNA. So yeah, you're right, Ray.
I don't even know what that is anymore. I think we throw those things around. You know, like things that you can't judge, like you can't put a value on, sort of DNA, and he understands the club ethos. I don't care about that anymore. Like, look, as a Liverpool fan, I want someone in just to win, please, just to win it and sort out the mess. And I think
Man United's DNA is winning.
Yeah, just win. But obviously, I've grown up at an age where United always won. You know what I mean? It's constant winners all over the pitch, and there wasn't this infighting. And you had issues. Roy Keane sort of had an issue with Ferguson, but most times Fergie would get rid, sort out the issue, and then you move on. Now, Luke Shaw coming out with that interview, Harry Maguire's spoken recently. It seems to be a player each month. Like Maguire's had his month, Pogba's had his month, Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Bruno, Ronaldo. Now it's Jadon Sancho's time because it looks like he's out of the team. It's a weird thing going on at United watching it.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a mess. Well, not a bit, a lot of a mess. Let's just quickly talk fixtures and kind of results and stuff before we move on from United. Obviously, that 2-2 against Aston Villa. Cruising with, the best part of 15 minutes left. Just see the game out. And we capitulated and we got Brentford up next.
Yeah, it's a bad result for them, that Villa one. I mean, again, I remember watching the cup game and I thought you were lucky in the cup, I have to admit. I thought very, very lucky. I thought Villa played really good. And it's interesting, these new progressive managers that are playing really good football, sort of Vieira, Graham Potter, Steven Gerrard. And I remember thinking in the first sort of 20 minutes, I was like, bloody hell, how have United turned this around?
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was going to be tough. Villa Park, the noise, it was crazy. Obviously, the Coutinho factor. And I was like, okay, Villa are going to do United here. And, when Bruno scored that goal and then the second, I was like, how have they done this? Like, I thought it was a really good performance. And then, like you say, I mean, how you can't hold on to a 2-0 result like that with the experienced players you have on the pitch, it's bad. It doesn't look good. And in the end, Villa could have, a couple more minutes there and it looked like it was going one way, that result.
Hang on, 100%. It's so typical.
I don't know. You might be, in the end, you look at it as a point, might be a good point, but yeah, disappointing. That chase for a top 4, 2-0 away to Villa, that's disappointing.
100%. And moving it kind of into your team in terms of our next game is against Brentford, the team that you just beat 3-0. How do you see Man United up against Brentford? Give me a prediction for Wednesday night.
I mean, surely. I don't
know
how bad can it look.
Listen, no, Ade, you're a broadcaster. You know about the Brentford Community Stadium and how difficult it is to go there. Your team went there and drew 3-3, and that's Liverpool.
Yeah.
Chelsea went there and narrowly lost, I think.
Even Arsenal, the first game of the season, weren't great.
Arsenal, exactly. They lost there. They give everybody a good game at their place, especially.
To be fair to Thomas Frank, they play good football. I mean, he stuck to it. Even against, that result 3-0 might sound good for Liverpool. It wasn't a 3-0 game. It was actually a really bad Liverpool performance. Ivan Toney, if he had his shooting boots on, and Mbeumo
went close
as well, that just missed the post.
Yeah.
Those two will cause you problems. And, I mean, it depends who you're going to go with at the back. Is Lindelof still going to start? Is Maguire going to come in? If it's Lindelof, Ivan Toney will fancy his chances. And they will make sure they go on to Lindelof and that side of the defence. So, look, it's going to be hard. They play good football, but this is United we're talking about. As much as I'm a Liverpool fan, I look at the United team that could be put out against Brentford, and there is no way. And it is as well. A lot of players have a lot to prove. I expect Jadon Sancho to step up if given the opportunity. He's now obviously down in the pecking order. I expect Greenwood to do a little better. Rashford, I have no idea what's going on. So a lot of players are something to prove. And I think Brentford, who allow you to play football, that's the thing. They don't get stuck in like a Villa. They're not really into the tackle. You should be able to play Brentford off the park. It can't get that bad.
You're jinxing everything. Nah, you're jinxing everything. You're saying stuff that factually, yes, probably should happen. But it's match day 22, as you can see just below us there. And in 22 Premier League games, or 21, whatever, we've played 20. We're a mess, Ade. And I am not confident at all. I'm not.
The constant changing of 11 doesn't help either.
Yeah, because he doesn't. No one's pulling up trees to hold the shirt. Do you know what I mean? As a new manager, if you come in, you have to test out the players, and nobody's kind of gone, yeah, boss, this is my number. I play 90 minutes every game here. Look, no one's really done that. Do you know what I mean? So
it's crazy. McTominay was missed, wasn't he?
There you go.
Like, as much as that McFred thing, as people have laughed at it. I was watching the game.
Matic started tiring. He couldn't get around.
Yeah, McTominay's energy and Fred, their energy And now you see it when you watch United games where one's out or whatever, one's rested. You realize the energy both of those two bring to the midfield. Look, I'm not saying it's quality. I'm not going to say that they're good enough for United going forward in terms of, the aspirations, but their energy is crazy. And Villa kind of run the show in the last 15 minutes because the lack of energy in that midfield was just apparent. And McTominay is he back for Brentford?
He should be back. Yeah, he should be back. I mean, look, some people in the chat say, no, he wasn't missed. We just have 3 bad midfielders, says Damian Brown. He says it was, and McTominay was missed. Hell no, says MWK360.
McTominay still gets no love.
Look, the problem, everyone's saying it there. Look, Scott was not missed, says Marshall. The problem that we've got, guys, and you guys know my feelings on McTominay, so I don't need to, tell the United viewers that. But out of a bad bunch of midfielders that we have, that it doesn't matter really who plays, the most decent, and it's a decent with not a capital D, the most decent pairing we have, it seems to be Fred and McTominay in terms of just the energy, just energy alone and getting about the pitch.
Consistency. Like, don't get me wrong, look, ideally,
they're not good enough.
At the start of the season, everyone was like, obviously, Pogba and Bruno, and I get that. But A, how many times have we seen them together? And B, sometimes they'll give you a 2 out of 10, then a 9 out of 10.
That's
like McTominay and Fred, say what you want. It's a 6 or a 7 most games. It's not, again, it doesn't pull up trees, but you kind of know what you're getting. With Fred and with Bruno and Pogba, you just no idea what I'm getting.
Yeah, they ironically, it was what was it against Burnley? It was McTominay was really good, scored and one hit off the bar and Ronaldo tapped it in. Against Villa, Fred assisted McTominay header. Like it's odd. It's very. When Gary Neville said they're an odd bunch.
They're an odd bunch. But United have had those midfielders over the years. That even when John O'Shea used to drop into midfield, Darren Fletcher, you had superstars around them, and you just for some reason had that one non-superstar that Fergie always used to love. That's got to play in the big games. And look, I'm not saying McTominay's that, but you can see why every single manager that's been there has played him. Like, it's just they've all played him for a reason.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's actually true. As much as we don't want to hear it as United fans, and people say, "McTominay, you having a laugh?" No one's saying that these players are the standard, and we have to persist with that. But unfortunately, we've had such dross. There, sound a little bit like Simon Jordan. Such dross.
Yes,
had such dross in there that like they're just the best of an average, if not below average bunch, which says more about Man United than it does about those two individuals who actually give everything every game.
Agreed.
So okay, let's move on. Rafa Benitez sacked. No surprises. Surprise he lasted this long.
Exactly. Look, you mentioned I do stuff for TalkSport, and so we speak to quite a lot of Everton fans, especially when he was first appointed.
What they say?
And all of them, to be fair, in unison were like, we don't want it. But to be fair to Everton fans, they're kind of like, okay, you know what? Let's just get behind him. Let's not be the ones that put the banners out early. Let's get behind him. And at the start, they got some results. Andros Townsend looked good. Damari Gray looked like the still of the season. I remember everyone at the start of the season was like, my God, this is the best sign of the season. And he still does look like a good player. But 1 win in 13, you're getting sacked. I don't care who you are. 1 win in 13, you're going to go. And then you're 2-0 down to the team that don't even score or win ever in Norwich. You're going to get sacked. The banners are out. And I spoke to Peter Reid, former Everton midfielder, yesterday, and he was like, look, even he kind of backed Rafa at the start. Wasn't happy with the appointment, but backed it. But he knew how quick the tide was going to turn as soon as those results started looking bad, as soon as they started playing bad football, as soon as Dominic Calvert-Lewin got injured as well, which I think is a big thing. They knew it was going to go and collapse, and no surprise at all. I'm shocked he lasts that long, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, you can't get beat by Norwich. They're the whippet. You can't, unfortunately, and Everton fans ain't going to accept it.
No, they're not, and it was just a matter of time. And even I saw his statement on his website that was basically saying, I took this job because of the people of Merseyside and Liverpool. I understand what it's like. Yeah, mate, the red side, love you.
Yeah, but that is some nonsense, isn't
it? don't try and just quickly add the Everton fans into that love, bro. Yeah, never loved
all
you.
Merseyside together there, like it's one. No. There's two halves, my friend. Yeah. You understand that half. You don't understand that half. Yeah,
you can't do that. And he said, I didn't realize how difficult it would be, until I got in there. And then you can see what happened. So look. I don't know, man. It was always going to happen. Yeah, it is.
I understand Ralph Rangnick saying that because he's come from a completely different league. He's never managed in the Premier League. And I get that. He would be like, whoa, this is a bit different than I expected. Rafa knows everything about the Premier League. Every in and out. Like, he's managed three clubs in the Premier League: Chelsea, Liverpool, and Newcastle. He knows exactly Everton and the fan base and how the club works and the money spent and the managers previous. So I'm not having that. I just think his time's gone as a manager. It happens to players, right? It can happen to managers. And I think Rafa as a top manager, it's done. He's archaic. The way in which he sets his teams up is boring and it's dull. Again, you watch someone like Graham Potter at Brighton, and even Vieira, who might not be getting the results, but you can see kind of what they're trying to do, and you think, oh, this is exciting. I look at Rafa and I think, God, this is awful, man.
No, very, very true. Very, very true. And I mean, he does have the knack for sometimes popping up in jobs where you just least expect. So I probably wouldn't write him off for another Premier League job just because he's Rafa and he always finds a job somewhere somehow. Like, who would have thought he'd been at Everton? That was just, do you know what I mean? So if that can happen, you know, a newly promoted side, I don't know, maybe Fulham or Bournemouth come up next year, struggle, and then they go, oh, we'll get Rafa. You never know. You never know. So we'll wait and see on that one. Everton's next game, Villa. It's not getting any easier for them. Aston Villa at Goodison Park. Although sometimes you might, if they put Big Duncan in there as an interim manager like they did last time in 2019. I mean, he beat Chelsea 3-1 in that game, and then he come to Old Trafford. And drew, and then he said he didn't want the job at that time, but he could get a little bit of a new manager bounce. Who would you tip to take over, and how do you think Everton would do in the kind of immediate future if they get an interim?
It's interesting. Like, going back to that Villa game, look, they're going to be up for it, aren't they? Steven Gerrard going to Goodison Park as well. Big Dunk. They're going to make so much noise, and I wouldn't be surprised if they turn Villa over, if I'm honest with you, just because of that. The atmosphere counts for a lot in those type of games. I think they'll look at it as like a little derby because of Steven Gerrard. Look, I think obviously Big Dunk maybe until the end of the season. I think that's dangerous, personally, just because I think they're in a relegation battle. I know the bottom four are so bad, but they could be sucked into it. I think they're only 5 points off Watford now, I think. So they can be sucked into it. I mean, there's been shouts about Wayne Rooney and the job that he's doing at Derby County, and that's a difficult one. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe Roberto Martinez, who's been there before, he's doing, obviously looks like he's leaving Belgium, maybe as well. So I don't know, man, but they need to get it right.
Him again didn't end
on
a good
do you know what I mean?
well.
I think his time's done as well. I feel like once you go to international football, it's difficult to come back to club football, that day in, day out work. So I don't know, man. They've had I think 7 or 8 managers since David Moyes left, and all of them have been wrong. And you think about it, they've tried everything. They've tried progressive Marco Silva. They've tried experience and big manager Carlo Ancelotti, Sam Allardyce, get him out of trouble. Nothing's worked. So whatever they do, they need to kind of just maybe wait until the end of the season, no rush decision, and get the right man in. And it might be Rooney. I mean,
I was going to say, what do you think? What do you think of that? Was that, you know, he's on Mission Impossible at Derby and actually doing a very good job at giving it a go. And if he does keep them up, what a remarkable achievement that would be. He'd be manager of the year out of all the leagues,
100%
out of all the leagues,
of everything.
Yeah,
all the leagues in the world.
All the leagues in the world, with what he's been stacked up against, getting that Derby team playing, and if he keeps them up, it'd be amazing. Rooney as a player, if his managerial kind of hunger and mentality is anything like a player, he will not back down from taking an Everton job. However, would you see that as a good thing?
I don't know, man. Everyone likes those kind of Hollywood stories, don't they? About, you know, former player coming back, and I get that. But even like some people asking me about Steven Gerrard in Liverpool, I'm like, no. I want Jurgen Klopp now. I want the best man. I'm not on that romanticism. I want the best man for the job. Like, if Steven's the best man, then fair dues. But I'm not, because he was Liverpool's greatest ever player, come back. No. None of that. And I feel like that's the same with Rooney. He's doing a good job at Derby. You're right. I mean, it's a club in chaos. They can't make transfers. So he's got the grounding. He's learnt the hard way. And maybe the next step is a Premier League job. But I don't know, man. That's a big one. Everton are a big, big club, you know. As much as they've not won anything for so many years, they're moving to a new stadium. They've got a chairman that likes to spend real good money. I don't know, man. If I'm at Everton, I'm kind of leaving Rooney where he is, and I'm getting a top-level manager. Really good. Like, honestly, I actually like the Graham Potter one. I like it. I like what he's doing at Brighton. Again, experienced. I like that link. Knows the Premier League well now as a manager. And I like the football he plays as well. Like, he's stuck to it. Even when results weren't going too good for Brighton, stuck with that football philosophy. So I like someone like a Graham Potter. For me, Rooney, not yet. A couple of years away, I think, from that kind of top job.
The surname is 3 syllables. Says yes, Ade linking up with Flex, my 2 favorite YouTubers. Big up to you, bro. Big up.
Probably my
Appreciate
mum's
that.
burner account. Thanks, mum.
Yeah, yeah. You sent her a message before we came on there. Let's move on to Leeds actually and West Ham, because the hunt for the top 4. West Ham still up there in 4th. Had the chance to kind of extend that gap over Arsenal, couldn't do it. Obviously, they've played a couple games more than Arsenal as well now.
Yeah.
Our West Ham, just David Moyes spoke about fatigue, kind of more with the fixture pile up as well. But in terms of in general, are they starting to kind of whittle away now, or they're still going to make it tough and still be there? And their next game is, I believe, us next week.
Oh, doesn't get any easier. Doesn't get any easier for you. Doesn't get any easier for them.
Exactly.
I think they're stretching themselves very thin now, West Ham. And I like West Ham a lot. I think what David Moyes has done is good. Some good players in the team as well. I mean, I did love the partnership at the back, and I think that's caused a lot of issues for them. Zuma being out, Ogbonna being out as well. They've lost that, and they just don't have the strength and depth, if I'm honest with you. I mean, that's one thing. Starting 11, West Ham will cause you problems. I mean, look, they beat Liverpool at the London Stadium. They beat Chelsea at the London Stadium with that good starting 11. It's what comes off the bench. If Antonio isn't scoring, is Yarmolenko going to come off the bench and score? I think Bowen's done really good as well. But I'm shocked that they've not given them any money to spend in the January transfer window, considering where they are. Like, this is the perfect time for Moyes to say, okay, Gold and Sullivan, we've had new investment now into the club. Give me 100 million or whatever it is, 50 million. Let me buy 2 players and we can make a real push for Europe here and a push for the Europa League. They've got a chance and nothing. Like, how they've not got Jesse Lingard in is mind-boggling. Honestly, it's mind-boggling. Look, I know Lingard's spoken about staying to the end of the summer, but he's clearly not going to play. I mean, does Lingard want to play 10 minutes off the bench here and there, or does he want to start for West Ham, get goals, and potentially get into Gareth Southgate's thinking for Qatar 2022? So look, I like West Ham, but I think they're just trying to compete on too many fronts. They don't have the squad for it. And in the end, it could collapse unless they get a couple of January signings.
Yeah, and before we move away from that fixture, how impressed was you with Leeds? I mean, they're a team that have not had a good season. People know what I think of Bielsa. I think he gets a lot of gas. I really do. And I'm not just saying that as a Man United fan because I don't like Leeds. Yeah. It's yes, they can be exciting to watch on their day, but by and large, they concede loads of goals and they don't win games very often. And I think they've been found out a little bit this year. But when you play the way that they play, 1 game out of 10 or 2 games out of 10, you're going to get a couple of high-scoring games like that, and they're on the other end of it for the right reason. So they were exciting yesterday, and Jack Harrison with his first career hat-trick, which he took that really well, that third goal, to be fair. Lovely little dink.
Lovely dink.
How did you see Leeds?
Leeds good. Leeds have had an awful season. Awful. And I know people will point to the injuries and the COVID cases, and I get all that, but most clubs have had that issue as well. Like, most clubs are having to field youngsters and put youngsters on the bench. I'm with you on Bielsa. I think it's so overhyped, it's scary. Like, he could do no wrong last season. Wrong. Walking on water. I mean, they concede 4 goals, but look at the football they play though. And I'm like, dude, calm down. And I think they're almost being found out a bit this season. I think people started to work out their tempo, how fast they play, the energy, the gaps they leave. Look, they've still got great players. Like, I'd love Rafinha at Liverpool. I've said it openly. I like the way he plays.
Rich just says Rafinha is quality. He's one of the stars. He is the star of that team. Really. I can't see him being there beyond this year.
They've missed Calvin Phillips. Obviously, Bamford has been missed as well. I don't know if Bamford was going to have a good second season anyway. But Leeds are where they are. The table never lies. And the fact is, Leeds are right near the bottom of the table. So that shows you how bad a season it's been for them. But I think they've got enough quality in there. And I think we saw it now against West Ham to kind of get themselves away from that relegation battle. But I do think this is going to be Bielsa's last year at Leeds. I think that's it. And I think someone else will come in the summer.
Freshen it up a little bit.
Yeah.
This next bit what we're going to talk about won't take long. Man City won again.
No.
Title race done, over. It was already done, in my opinion. But is that just it now? 100%
done. Yeah, it's just done, isn't it? Bro, you know the funny
Liverpool
thing is,
second can't catch them. You know what I mean?
Liverpool, I was thinking about this the other day. We're on 45 points. Yeah.
Exactly.
21 games gone. I think 2 defeats, 13 wins, or something like that. That's good.
That's exactly what it is.
But it's weird that they've made it seem like it's disgraceful. So I get depressed when we have a draw, and I'm like, every team, like, again, I've grown up watching the great United teams, and United have great teams. Most United teams would have been about where Liverpool is, like, points-wise now. and there'd been a couple of defeats, a couple of draws, whatever. Man City have done it to the point where you've got to win 13 in a row. And it's just not possible. It's just, you can't do it. Liverpool tried to do it with them once, and we even came second.
1 point, yeah.
Yeah, 1 point. I'm like, is this what you've got to do? They've made it to the point where 95 to 100 points is what you've got to do. And that's just ridiculous. Yeah. So I have no love for them. And look,
well, you're 9 points. You're 9 points behind with a game in hand. So you say you win that game in hand, 6 points. It's still only 2 games.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not crazy. And then you think of going to the Etihad, and look, credit to Liverpool. I mean, we're the team that and I think you could admit this as well. We go for it. When we go there, it's war. There is no sitting back and trying to catch them on a counter attack. It's a war. So you never know. But even if we were to beat them, they'll go on another run of win 8 games in a row. That's just what they do, unfortunately. And then you got De Bruyne, Gundogan, but I can't forget it. Let's move on. I'm done with them. I hate them so much. They're just too strong.
That is one thing, obviously, even though you're a Liverpool fan, we will share that. We will share that same hatred. Like, I love the way you said I hate them so much. That's how I feel. So I also feel like that about your team, but at least we share that. We have some sort of common ground. Yeah. Yeah, because they're just, honestly, it is.
Bro, it's like even Cancelo now is like Kevin De Bruyne at left back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They say we don't need strikers. They have no strikers.
Yeah, they're just doing it. They actually don't need one. They don't
need a striker.
Everyone said at the beginning of the season, why Liverpool might come back, people fit again. City didn't get Kane. That will probably catch up with them. They got away with it last year. No.
Bro, it's frightening. And
bought Jack Grealish 100 million, spent most of the time on the bench.
Who can sign someone for 100 million and just like, we'll play you when we want to play?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've not even seen the best of Phil Foden this season. I know De Bruyne scored that great goal, but we've not seen the best of De Bruyne.
No,
and yet
we haven't.
Someone else just takes the mantle. Bernardo Silva's like, okay, let me do this for a little while. I'll handle this. Mahrez, I know he's away now, but Mahrez is probably one of the most underrated superstars in the league, by the way, I think. Like, as soon as Mahrez gets the ball on that left foot, forget it. Walk to the halfway line, he's going to do something madness. Every time he gets the ball, he's scary, and he's not there right now. And
Sterling, people tried to write him off. Still active, still silencing people. That's just what it is. Right, this section's made me sick now. Let's move on. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to the other end of the table as well. Newcastle couldn't get it done. They couldn't get it done against Watford. João Pedro with what a header that was, by the way. Near the end of the game, proper header. Just I love the way he celebrated as well. Just cool, calm, just give it that.
It's nothing. It's easy.
Yeah. Look, they've signed Chris Wood. They've signed Kieran Trippier. They're looking at the centre back from Sevilla. They were looking at Sven Botman as well.
Yeah.
They're trying to strengthen in defence further, trying to get another central midfielder, I should imagine. But we'll talk about Watford in a sec, but on Newcastle, they just can't buy a win. Doesn't matter from what position. Are you worried for them? Do you think they'll still be all right?
No, I'm worried, if I'm honest with you. I mean, it's weird, like all the excitement about the takeover in October.
Yeah,
and I'm not joking.
Realizations kicked in.
Like, all the players and managers they were linked with, it was crazy. Everyone was talking about Conte, Zidane, and even I was like, this is madness. People were talking about they could get Mbappe, and I was like, whoa, this is Chris Wood. Is this what the excitement was about? A guy that's got 3 goals this season, he's going to be the one that fires them to safety this season. I like Chris Wood, but Chris Wood's not a prolific goal scorer. Callum Wilson's always injured. St. Maximin's great. Wasn't great the other day, by the way, but St. Maximin's good. But he's a bit like a Adama Traore. You kind of don't know what you're getting with him sometimes.
100%, you don't.
Like, one day he's a 1, next day he's a 10 out of 10. You're thinking, my God, he could play for Barcelona.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Eddie Howe's had no new manager bounce at all. It's just, I'm not quite sure. Like, they could be the most richest club in the world in the Championship next season. But look, it's weird. They can't even seem to attract players. I thought from January the 1st, there'll be like 4 or 5 new signings, like January the 1st.
Ready to go.
Are now. What is it today? The 17th? And we've only got Chris Wood and Kieran Trippier in. It's just not good enough. But yeah, I think they're in a big relegation battle. Look, if you don't beat Watford, then that shows you where you are. Because Watford aren't a great team either. So they're in trouble this season.
Yeah, and the thing is that it shows you that they are around level par with Watford. Yeah. Watford have had their struggles this year, and they're down the bottom of the league, fighting to stay in the league. And a lot of people wrote them off, saying they're going to go to St. James's. Like I said, the bounce, Chris Wood in there. He actually didn't play, did he? Did he play?
No, he did. He did.
Did he play?
Yeah.
He did play.
He
so
did.
Chris Chris Wood. See, I mean, Chris Wood playing. Trips is back in there. You know, you expect a difficult evening for Watford, and yes,
Watford
Newcastle
had most of the
chances.
chances in that game.
Exactly, and Watford were unlucky not to win it, given the chances that they had. Sissoko, don't know how he didn't score. So, you know, I feel I worry. As soon as Eddie Howe arrived at Newcastle, I thought, I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
Eddie Howe's a bit like Nuno at Tottenham, where Eddie Howe was like 5th choice. No disrespect, they didn't want Eddie Howe, did they? They wanted Unai Emery before that. They wanted Brendan Rodgers before that. They didn't. Maybe
they started up there and then kind of
they kept them going down the list. And okay, who's Eddie? Get Eddie in.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe's not managed for a couple of seasons, I think it is now. And look, last time he managed, Bournemouth got relegated. I mean, look, he's done a great job at Bournemouth, but the fact is they got relegated. That's just facts. So I'm not quite sure. Every time he spent money on big players, it's not really worked. We think of Dominic Solanke when they bought him from Liverpool, didn't work for them in the Premier League. Jordan Ibe from Liverpool didn't work. And so when he had big money, he's not really delivered that much. No. So I'm not sure about Eddie Howe either. I'm not sure about him. I think they've almost, he might get them out of the Championship. He could be a good manager for that, actually. And then they'll go again in the Premier League sort of 2023. But I think they're in big trouble, Newcastle.
Yeah, they need wins, and they need wins quickly. On to Watford. I mean, Claudio Ranieri's one of them characters, isn't he? I don't care who you are. You can't not like him. And he's had ups and downs at Watford. They needed defenders badly. They've brought some in this January transfer window, and they're still not in the drop zone, you know, as it stands. You know, Norwich are creeping up though, worryingly, but you know Watford got 2 games in hand over them ahead of a crunch game against Burnley tomorrow. That game is Watford. I mean, what do you think of their chances of staying up?
Difficult as well, you know, Flex. I mean, look, their chances are good because the 3 teams below them are awful. That's what it is, really. Like, I think this could be the lowest points tally to stay up. Normally, you kind of think that 40-point barrier. I think it could be like 33, 34 points because Burnley, Newcastle, and Norwich are so bad. But look, Ranieri's had a couple of good results in there, but we've got to be honest. As much as I love Ranieri, just as a person, I think he's such a great guy. I've actually interviewed him before, and he's just so nice. It's incredible how nice he is. He's not pulled up any trees as well. Like Watford were getting spanked all the time. And again, look, we talk about going to St. James's Park and getting the point and credit, but Newcastle are awful as well. So as much as I want to give them credit for that result, they're playing a very good, poor Newcastle team. I don't know, man. I actually, there was a time a couple of weeks ago, I thought they could sack Ranieri. I know that sounds crazy, but this is Watford we're talking about, who run through managers like a hot knife through butter. I think they could stay up, but you still, of all the teams down there, I think, okay, who's the team that always seems to survive? Burnley. Sean Dyche just has a way.
I think it's over for them this time. I think it's Burnley's time to go now. I think they've flirted with it for a while, and Sean Dyche does pull it out the bag usually. But losing someone who kind of is Mr. Burnley, in Chris Wood, that type of striker. I mean, when I was on Sky last week, we were talking about who should kind of replace him. They're talking about Andy Carroll on a short-term loan. Could you get in a Mitrovic who's just signed a big contract at Fulham? You know, you're clutching, but you want that big, powerful striker who plays the Burnley way. Mitrovic would be perfect, ideally, but I don't think he's going to be attainable. But I just feel like they're going to run out of gas. And with Watford, I know you mentioned there about you know, you thought Ranieri could get sacked even coming in early in the season. It's like, but that's their model. Like their most successful periods in the Premier League when they stayed up like 4 or 5 seasons in a row was from that model. That's their model. Like it's similar to what Chelsea's is. Like
it's weird. It's the opposite way around, isn't it?
Completely different aspirations of what they're trying to achieve. But listen, mate, if I don't get a top, Tuchel, if he don't, you know, win anything and finish maybe a flat 4th, he might get sacked.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
It would not surprise me if he were to go.
Yeah. So I do feel I've said that a lot. I do feel like Watford kind of get a lot of stick for sacking their managers, and then when other people do it, it's like, oh, it's just Abramovich. It's what he does. But that's what Watford do too. Do you know what I mean? I've seen that.
Though, with Watford, and look, if I'm a Watford fan, I am looking at a team like a Brighton, who don't spend a lot of money. Obviously moved to the nice Amex Stadium, and I'm thinking, why aren't we like that? Like, you know, why can't we just look at someone what their ideas are and their philosophies and all that.
It's
And
got a
just
basis
go
too.
for
They're a good family club,
good
family
family club.
orientated club. They're
Yeah,
really tight knit. They're really close. I know some people inside Watford. It's a wicked club,
yeah.
and they just need that kind of guidance. I don't know if they're kind of the Potts have done well as the ownership, but I don't know whether they're looking to kind of like they always say. I think that the Potts don't always get the targets that they should get and stuff like that. And like you're saying, they do. If they could have like a Graham Potter, someone who could really take them. Do you know what I mean? Because it'll be great to
And
see
look,
Watford.
let's be honest.
Comfortably
Not many of us, and we can put our hands up here and be, even though we're football guys, not many of us knew who Graham Potter was.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, oh my god, who is this amazing? No, it was like, what? You sat Chris Hughton, you got this Graham Potter in. So sometimes it doesn't have to be a named manager, just someone that you've kind of scouted that maybe might even be in an under 23 somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but Man City working alongside Pep, you don't even know who they are, and all of a sudden they're just a good manager. So doesn't have to be a big one. And I think Watford always seem to try and look for a superstar name. It doesn't have to be. But look, I hope they start because of Ranieri, but I think it's going to be very, very tough for them.
Yeah, Dev Singh says if Arsenal win their next 2 games, they go 2 points behind Chelsea. Yeah,
there's a lot of that though. Yeah, there's so much of if this happens and if that happens, and they said this about Tottenham a couple of weeks ago. If Tottenham do that, it doesn't work like that. Give me the points on the board now. Give me those points that you've got. Yeah, there's too many ifs in football.
100%. Last 2 couple of games. Well, actually, just before we finish off, we'll move on for them. Burnley against Watford tomorrow at Turf Moor. How do you see that massive game down the bottom of the table?
0-0.
Yeah,
that's Burnley. That's one of those ones. If it's on Sky Sports, it'll be their lowest viewed game in history. That's a 0-0. Yeah. And let's just hope it's on, because Burnley have called their last couple of games off because of COVID. So who knows?
Yeah, I think Watford will nick that one. Actually, Watford don't keep too many clean sheets. 2-1 Watford. 2-1 Watford. Next game, let's move on. Southampton versus Wolves. Wolves versus Southampton was an entertaining game with James Ward-Prowse. I know they lost, but what a free kick! Like I still
don't know.
He's like, I've got the stats here. Yeah, just quickly. He, in terms of let me just grab it up. In terms of free kicks, I was like, I think he's better than Beckham. He's better than Beckham. I'm saying he's the best free kick taker ever. And I just wanted to see most goals from free kicks. David Beckham's 18, Zola with 12, Henry with 12, Ward-Prowse with 12. Lauren Robert. Remember Lauren Robert at Newcastle?
Bloody hell, Lauren Robert,
with 11.
Newcastle days,
he was wicked at free kicks as well. Left-footed. He's on 12 and David Beckham's on 18. If he keeps going like this, man.
And let's be honest, United got more free kicks than Southampton.
Yeah, exactly.
United will get more free kicks than Southampton all day,
Exactly. So that just a big shout out to him, and I just think him in general is actually just a really good player. He's synonymous with free kicks, but he is more than that. He is more than that. But Wolves, what did you make of them?
Mate, I'm telling you now, Bruno Lage has come in, and he might be the best signing this season, like player, manager, whatever. He's coming under the radar, and no one spoke about him. No one spoke. It was like, oh, Nuno's gone, and they've got, a kind of light-for-light replacement. Who's this Bruno Lage guy? Mate, he's got them playing football. Look, it's the thing about Wolves, and I watched him against you guys. They've just got so many people that are comfortable on the ball.
Really
left foot,
good.
right foot, really ping it to them, not a problem.
It made me sick when they beat us. Like I was watching Trincao, Podence, the way Jimenez looks after the ball, the way Moutinho and Neves look after the ball. That is all in sync. The fullbacks. You had Marcel, I think, the left wing back, Semedo, right wing back, just going forward in unison.
Does it as well now at the back.
Gilman. It's just it's good to watch. It's not good if you're playing against them, but it's good to watch.
It really is, and they've got so many good ballers. And I think we saw that against Southampton. And Southampton made it edgy at the end, as you say, with Ward-Prowse free kick. But then they can bring on Adama Traore. And when you need an out ball, look, for whatever Adama Traore is, there's no better out ball in football than Adama Traore. I don't care. Anyone tells me, find me someone that last 10 minutes, bringing him on is a problem. And I think that's kind of what he's become, almost a super sub. And look, I hope he gets a move away so he can blossom into more than that. But I think what Bruno Lage has done is fantastic. And they're going under the radar massively. And this is almost a bit like when they went under the radar when they first came into the Prem under Nuno. And I think they finished 7th or 8th then. Yeah, it's kind of really happening again with Wolves. Raul Jimenez is back, which is good. Scoring goals, nice penalty. They're good Wolves. Very, very solid team. And I think dangerous for everyone. I remember when we went there and only beat them with that Origi goal in the last second.
Yeah,
They're a
exactly.
tough out for everyone.
Yeah, proper. But you're the manager says best kit in the business. Hashtag Vamos Flamengo. Yeah, I got my Flamengo shirt on today. And KG's in the chat. KG says, man like Ade, with the Nigerian flags. Big up the Nigerian community as
Indeed.
well.
AFCON.
Big up, 100%, man, 100%. KG is making an appearance there. And the last couple of fixtures that I just want to go through, and just the last couple of teams, very quickly. Brighton Palace, obviously a derby. Every time these two play each other, there's always a late goal.
Yeah.
Earlier on this season, at Selhurst Park, it was Neil Mopay right at the end when they made a mistake at the back. Palace should have won that one. And we saw again a last-minute own goal. Took Graham Potter again, still not losing football matches. Patrick Vieira looking good with Crystal Palace, looking exciting. Conor Gallagher with another goal. How did you see that game and just assess those two teams?
Brother, loved it. Honestly, loved it. And I have to be brutally honest with you. I don't normally sit down and watch teams play unless it's like Liverpool. Then I'll, watch it unless it's some of the big boys play. And I thought, let me just watch Brighton versus Palace. And I loved every single minute of that game. Two managers that play really good football. Like the way in which Vieira's changed his Palace side in such a short space of time. That's why all that nonsense that it takes 2 years to get the... No. Vieira done it in a couple of weeks. Like, this is a Palace side that were boring under Roy Hodgson. All of a sudden, they got these wingers flying that I've never heard. I didn't know about this Elise kid until Vieira came. So they've got really good ballers. And what Brighton have done as well, the way in which they play, Cucurella on that side, it's so exciting. Honestly, Neil Mopay looks good every time he's on the ball. Even Danny Welbeck looked okay when he came on. I was like, what's Welbeck's doing? So look, I like what Brighton are doing. I love what Vieira's doing at Palace. Two teams that play really good football, and their fans should be happy. Honestly, both fans should be happy. We had a Brighton caller the other day, call up TalkSport yesterday, and was moaning about them being ninth and the amount of draws. I'm like, what do they want? What's wrong with you? You're a relegation team every last couple of seasons. Now all of a sudden you're ninth and you want more. Like, take it easy. But yeah, I think Graham Potter's a great manager and good football.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I like him. It's taken me a while to be 100% convinced. Like, I don't like short-termism. I don't like jumping on straight away because a few good results and stuff like that. Yeah, but I think it's fair to say the way he has them playing, considering the resources that he has, and the players that he has, and some of them are actually really technically sound. I look at players like Trossard. I look at players like, obviously, Mopay's always out.
Solly March when he comes on.
Cucurella, Solly March when he comes on. Obviously, young Tariq Lamptey there. So, and people like Dunk and stuff like that. Honestly, I'm surprised he's still there.
I can't believe he's still there, by the way. Honestly, I can't believe it. He's almost like a throwback, sort of Martin Keown type defender. Just big and strong, puts his
right place, right time, wins his headers.
There's place for defenders like that. Like Liverpool got one like Nat Phillips. And no, I'm not. And Nat Phillips isn't Dunk. Don't get me wrong. But you almost sometimes you need a defender like that. Put your head in, get stuck in. All these pretty defenders that come out of the ball and can ping it 60 yards. No. Just get rid of the ball. Yeah. And Dunk does that. And I like Dunk a lot. I think he's a good defender.
Yeah, exactly. Tottenham didn't play this weekend. Obviously, the North London derby was postponed with Arsenal. Tottenham's next game is Leicester on Wednesday, the 19th of Jan. Away at Leicester. How do you see that?
Tough. Good game of football, right? Leicester have been a bit hit and miss this season, but now it's like they're turning it up a little bit more, it looks like. By the way, both of those teams have got a lot of games to catch up on. Leicester have had a lot of games. Weird. Exactly. Arsenal got criticised a lot for their cancellations. Leicester have done it a lot, No one really speaks about it, Leicester, because it's little old Leicester, but they've done it a lot. But look, Maddison's starting to get into that kind of form of a couple of seasons ago where everyone's talking about a big money move to Arsenal. They need their African players back, obviously, and Ndidi's not there. Patson Daka looks like he's not there as well. Iheanacho's not there. I think they're really struggling without those guys. But
has Amati gone as well? He's African as well.
Yes, he has. Yes. So again, you know what I mean? So they're short. They really are short in numbers. Hence why they've called a few games off. But I don't know, man. Tottenham, I'm not quite sure, with what's going on with Conte. I mean, they got the new manager bounce. They definitely got it. But for me, Kane.
But the bounce was weird, though. It's not a proper bounce. It's almost like they've just been, and Spurs fans will tell you, I spoke to a couple of them just saying it's just getting by, because I just said it before. I think it was Rory, we was doing a Triple H shoot and he was like saying he's petrified because he still loves Conte and it burns him.
He sold Conte to me so much.
And he was like, no, Flex, like, he's gone there now, he's going to win stuff. And I goes, listen, semi-finals, Carabao Cup, you do them easy. Yeah, easy. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And I said, even in general, which even when they haven't been winning games or they've been drawing games, even Conte's been coming out saying, bloody hell, mate. Yeah. We're about mid-table, mate. That's where we are. It needs time. This needs a lot of time. Similar to Rafa Benitez saying, bloody hell, I didn't realize how bad this was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think he can't turn water into wine. Like,
that's it.
He's done well to get them working hard, running the most and stuff like that. He's getting the most out of that. Because when you've got, no disrespect, when you've got Doherty, Tanganga, Sanchez, Winks, Skip, Ndombele, like, a lot of these guys are just average players.
Bro, they are so dead wood. It's embarrassing. And I feel sorry for someone.
I know that's not their starting team because some people are not starting.
Yeah, but it's bad. I mean, the Dele Allis of the world. I mean, he's tried. Conte gave him a little run, and I remember against us, Liverpool, he looked okay.
Really
done a couple of runs. I was like, okay. And now he's gone again. Kane's nicking a living right now there. I mean, this is a guy that again was supposed to be a top 4, top 5, number 9 in the world. You speak to English fans, they'll say he's the best striker ever. I mean, what was he got? 4 goals in the Premier League. That's just unacceptable for a man of his quality. So I don't know, man. I'm not quite sure. I see a draw between Tottenham and Leicester. Should be a good game though, but both are a bit like that for me sometimes.
Yeah, I think Leicester might nick that one. I've got a feeling. And Arsenal's next game, because they got postponed, is against Burnley. Actually, well, they don't play to the 23rd of Jan.
Yeah, no, they've got us in it. They've got us in the League Cup on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, the League Cup. Yeah, but in the
after,
league. Yeah, so nothing in the Premier League until Burnley at home. I should imagine they win that too. Ade, I come to the end of the show. Big up, man. Thanks for coming through.
What you don't talk about my Liverpool team now? You don't want to even mention the great Liverpool football club.
I thought you forget. What do you mean, man? You beat Brentford 3-0. Yeah, cool. All right. He's all right, cool. Well, actually, no. Well, do you know what? I mean, what are you just playing for? Because we touched on it a little bit when we was talking about Man City, when you was like, we can't catch them. Is it just, Carabao Cup, second leg against Arsenal? I tell you what, I think Arsenal might do you.
They might. No, they might. Honestly, I mean, at least we got that win going into it. Arsenal have had a little rest as well now, so at least there's like momentum could be key. But I don't know. I hope that Klopp, and I think he is now, taking the cup competition serious for once. For him, it's always been Champions League and Premier League, and I get that. But I think, look, I mean, you don't want your tenure to end as Liverpool manager, and you've not had a trip to Wembley in the FA Cup, or not at Wembley in the Carabao Cup. So, I mean, for me,
that's true. Actually, he hasn't. Yeah. He always goes out early, or always against someone
early,
in the FA Cup.
Always early. And I hope that we got Cardiff in the FA Cup. We should get past that. And I think, look, as much as it's a good Arsenal side, Liverpool should have enough strength. We should be able to put a good performance on and maybe win against Arsenal. But we're playing for second. The league's done. The league's done. As much as we tried to look at it in like 6 points and we win our games in hand, they're gone. They're gone, and they could win this thing at a canter. But I think it's been a good season for Liverpool. With our midfield, we've had the injuries. I think Harvey Elliott would have played a lot this season.
Yeah, but unfortunate with the injury.
Yeah, and obviously he's back now training, which is good. Training with the first team as well, so he'll be back in a couple of weeks. Thiago's just been a nightmare, honestly.
Injured all the time.
Let's not talk about Liverpool. Actually, let's not.
You brought it up.
Let's not talk about Liverpool.
Yeah, because I see you on Twitter all the time. You're going in. You're not happy.
You know what it is? I just feel like I look at Keita, Ox, and Thiago. So Liverpool, as much as that engine room is Liverpool midfield, and everyone talks about it, and I think even Klopp has realized, okay, we need a bit more creativity in that midfield. The ones that we have bought in to be that creativity can't even play more than 5 games in a row.
No.
So I think he's clearly realized there's a problem.
Henderson, like on the ball, like yes.
Henderson on the ball is
when
not.
You're keeping the ball, it's all right, and you can run around and do the energy thing. But now he's been
let's be honest, he's not gonna. I mean,
on the ball.
He's not that guy on the ball, is it? And look, he knows his limitations.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
So Thiago was brought in for that. Thiago.
Yeah.
And with Thiago, it's always a calf injury. Same injury every bloody time.
Yeah,
calf.
Exactly.
Keita's doing things for Guinea. Can't do something for Liverpool. Captain, man of the match performances. Can't play for Liverpool. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want to get to the end of the season, then we'll see what happens. See if Salah signs a new contract. I think he will. And we'll see if we can add any additions, because we're not even spending money in the transfer window. There was a time a couple of years ago when we won the league. I thought, okay, we're here now. We're going to compete now with United, and we're going to go for those players. And
It's just not the Liverpool way, is it? It's not a Liverpool model. They just don't do it.
It's embarrassing.
Kevin Bridge says, what a show. And Jeremy says, love this show, man. Big up yourself, brothers, my brothers.
Thank you, man.
Big up. And just quickly, actually, we didn't really talk about him individually. Owen says, Coutinho with fire emojis. Just quickly, do you know, as an ex-Liverpool player, one, do you wish him all the best under your ex-manager, ex-player Steven Gerrard? And two, do you think he'll actually be a success?
I wish him all the best. I'm going to hold back on the success thing. Look, great start, and I get it, but you know, the last 4 years have been the last 4 years. I mean, I was lucky enough to see him at his peak when we got him from Inter Milan, and I thought he was a genius. Whatever's happened in the last 4 years, I don't know, but it's not worked out. But I think he'll be a relative success. Whether or not they can afford to buy him at the end of the loan, I don't know how much Barcelona are going to want for him. Villa have got money. I think everyone knows that now, but I'm not quite sure if that's the right fit for him. I still feel in himself, he still wants to be at a top club. And this could almost be a case of, look at me, guys. I'm in the Premier League. I'm doing something. I'm available next season. Someone come and buy me. So I think he's almost in the shop window. A lot to prove. What is he, 29 now? There's still a few good seasons there. He's not like he's someone that relies on his pace. I think there's a player there, and I think he'll do okay, but not as good as maybe people are wanting or expecting.
Fair enough. I think that's a fair assessment. I think he's for Villa. I think it gives them a bounce. It shows that they're going in the right direction. It shows that their intentions are pure. And under Gerrard, he spoke about it in his post match, didn't he? He just needs to go somewhere where he feels loved, and he'll definitely get that from Steven Gerrard and those Villa fans. And already coming on and scoring against Man United, there's no better way to be loved. Typical. Anyway, Ade, big up your YouTube channel, man. Where can people find it? I'm gonna put the link in the description below as well. But big up your channel.
Yeah, guys, Ade Oledipo. So my name, Ade Oledipo. You can find it. A lot of boxing chat, interviews as well. We're going to get Flex on just to talk other stuff. So we're moving away from boxing. We want to just bring everyone in. So musicians, authors, whatever we're going to start doing now. So yeah, Ade Oledipo. If you want to follow my channel, please do smash that subscribe button and like and share. Show a bit of love to the channel would be nice. Thank you.
100%. The link for that is in the video description below. So make sure you guys hit that up, run it up, and go and subscribe. And it's the same, I think, at Ade Oledipo on Twitter as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Insta. Yeah. So all those links will be below. You lot know what to do. Smash the like in the video, subscribe if you're new to United View. Got some exciting stuff coming up for you in the next couple of days. I'll wait for you guys to see. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Out of here. Peace.